Welcome to the Mindful Family Institute podcast, where we journey into holistic well-being. Join our passionate experts in somatic therapy, education coaching, and mindful life coaching as we explore the profound connection between mind, body, and emotion. Episodes will share actionable insights and invite guests to illuminate a path to a more connected and flourishing life. Tune in to navigate the depths of mind, body, emotion connections, fostering resilience and growth for all.
Welcome, everyone. This is our second episode of the Mindful Living podcast. And this is a podcast where three passionate experts, one in somatic therapy, one in education cognition coaching, and another in mindful life coaching, myself, we delve into all dynamic topics related to holistic well-being. And I'm one of your co-hosts, Denise Zach, joined by my two other co-hosts. Say hi, ladies, Erica and Jeannie.
Hello.
Hello.
And we're here, we're going to dive deep into a special edition podcast today. We're talking about new year, new you, getting to the root of success versus failure. We've had a lot of conversations about this over the last couple of weeks, haven't we, ladies?
Yes, absolutely. It's a big topic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And even with a lot of our clients and the students and the families that we're helping, we find ourselves in the heart of January, right? And it is no secret that many of us have already thrown in the towel with our New Year's resolutions, and the excitement that kind of fueled those ambitions and those goals sort of dwindled over the last couple of weeks. And that kind of leaves us wondering, why is it so challenging to stick to our aspirations? Is it fear? Is it confusion? Is it lack of motivation? We're here to explore the roots of your success versus your failure and goal setting, really aiming to help you kind of uncover the underlying reasons behind the patterns that we often find ourselves caught up in when we don't stick to our goals. Let's face it, setting a goal is actually easy, but keeping them is the hard part. That's the real challenge. And we get that. There is complete understanding that it is a hard thing to do. And it's about acknowledging that even in our failures, that holds valuable information for us that can guide us towards our success for the future. So today, we will be unveiling some strategies, some real solutions that really kind of help us understand the age-old struggle of keeping our goals. And it's not just about the destination. We know, ladies, that it's about the journey, and every step that we take, even seemingly backwards ones, contribute to our growth. And so join us today. We are so glad that you're here to help us redefine the narrative, right, around our New Year's resolutions with new insights, new tools to kind of take us towards meaningful steps towards our personal and our professional success. So let's dive in. All right, Jeannie, I'm going to start with you because we've been talking, and this is one thing that you say that you use with pretty much all of your clients around goal setting. And as an education and cognition coach and expert, you work all the time with people around their goal setting. And so you have this really cool model that I think is really useful in helping us to kind of understand where our motivation lies towards creating change. And so I'm going to bring up, you have this model here that I'm going to bring up here, and I want you to talk to us a little bit about it.
Sure. Thanks, Denise. Since I work in the schools with students and with families, New Year's is a huge time for planning new goals. Many schools have end of semester, grade reports come out, aspirations prior to graduation. So I have been accustomed to using this model, the cycle of change, and need to give credit to Prochaska and DiClemente. It's widely accepted in all over the US in a lot of different disciplines besides education. But what I like about it is it has 6 stages. So one stage that we're not even aware of is pre-contemplation. And pre-contemplation is when we're not aware that a change is necessary or a desire for a particular goal, but that will eventually move into contemplation. And contemplation is the emerging of that awareness. So, for example, all of a sudden, and I'll use a common example, weight loss, right? All of a sudden the holidays are over and our clothes are not fitting so good. And there's a focus on being healthy, right? So we start to become aware of the fact that it might be a great time, a great season to lose that weight. So we start contemplating, do I want to do this program? Do I want to do that workout program? Should I hire a personal trainer? And that's when, you start working towards the preparation, which is the third stage. So the preparation, would be, okay, I'm really zeroing in on this particular program to lose the weight. I've selected a gym where I want to start working out. And you start to do the research and make the decisions and are ready to move into action. The following state is the action itself. So now you're on the plan, you're doing it, you've got it incorporated, you're working towards a routine, and you're starting to see results. Once you start accomplishing some of your goals, then it becomes, how do I maintain this? So I've changed my lifestyle. And now what I want to do is ensure that this is going to continue as a long-term goal. And that would be the maintenance stage. Now, the final stage, which is 6, is actually the relapse. And that is an official stage. And what I think so many of my students don't understand is we all are under this false understanding that if we fail, if we don't accomplish our results, we eat the chocolate chip cookies and the pizza and blow it on an entire weekend, right, that it's over, and we may as well pitch in the towel and go back to where we were in the previous year. So what
I've done that.
We've all done that for sure.
Right, and it's almost serves as an excuse, right? See, I knew I couldn't do it, so let's just go back and go back into what feels comfortable and familiar to us.
Yes.
And we throw away all of the good work that we've done in realizing that we have the potential to accomplish that goal. So what I try to reinforce is we have to understand that failure has a message. So in the relapse, if we stop and we reflect rationally on what happened, we can actually gain a pearl of wisdom so that we can move forward in an even better position to start the cycle over. So, it says upward spiral is the overall direction that this model moves in, because if we stop and we learn the lessons that have been taught from these relapse, and we accept relapse as a normal course, then we're going to eventually get to that ultimate goal. So
I love that.
Yeah, so the 2 pieces I think that are the most amazing is giving yourself credit for the contemplation and preparation stage, and then also giving yourself credit for the relapse in seizing that opportunity to learn from your mistakes.
This is such a powerful design for sure. And I see that a lot in the relapse part. I'm guessing, I don't know if our audience listening is relating to some of these stages, but I'm guessing, as Denise said, I was there, that we all kind of go into that relapse stage. And we often call that in the somatic space like a default pattern. What is our pattern? What is your program? And then it does take time. It takes time to implement a new pattern, a new program in the brain and body. But having this kind of roadmap, I imagine, is really empowering for a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think it's kind of it's a great visual for acceptance and understanding, right? That these things are going to happen. We're going to trip up. We're going to quote unquote fail, but really, what are you learning from that failure that helps you the next time to know what maybe you should do differently, or what belief system you're holding on to, or what challenges you came up against that you can prevent the next time or work toward changing.
Exactly. And I think so much of accomplishing the goal is realizing that life is not perfect, and that if you can be proud of your evolution, we are always on the journey. It's not about the destination. It's more so about the journey, because what knowledge and wisdom we're gaining through the journey catapults us to where we need to be next in life. So not giving up, The other piece, which I also find from talking to a lot of individuals, is getting back to the contemplation and the preparation. So many people, like a great example again is dieting, right? So it's Sunday night and you go, oh, I'll start tomorrow, right? But have you done the proper, preparations? Do you have the food in the house, right? Do you have, maybe you have to prepare ahead of time, right? Is your schedule going to be conducive to starting a diet, right? So all of that, if you give yourself credit for that preparation stage, then you can set a much more realistic goal in terms of how to start it. As opposed to just, every single Monday morning, like, I'm starting today, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
having that plan is so essential. And that speaks to a little bit about how at each of these stages, I see that we're not meant to do any of these things alone, especially with change process. So as best you possibly can, see how where you are, even the contemplation or preparation stage, action stage, you're going to need supports, scaffolds in place to help guide you and to help you get through those kind of stress responses that you might experience along the way through that journey, through that process, through that, oh, this is hard, or this is uncomfortable, or I don't like this, or I made a mistake. And also keeping in mind how it's important to be, as best you possibly can, just gentle, loving, kind,
Right.
appreciative of yourself through the journey, through the process. And I like that you brought that up. Thanks, Jeannie, for keeping in mind that this is trying to, instead of focusing on that end result, which a lot of us are kind of programmed into, well, what is the outcome? What is the end result? Why are you doing this? What is your grade going to be? What job are you going to get? What school are you going to get into? How are you feeling along the way and thinking, and how are you being supported along the way through that change process?
Yeah. And I love that the acceptance piece of it is you're okay exactly as you are right now, and you can work towards creating more change and a healthier lifestyle, or looking at your life holistically and what you can
Right.
benefit from and improve from, and not just think I'm not okay now. And then there's a sense of rejection and doubt and negativity that comes with it that is very deflating and doesn't help us to motivate or to have energy in any way, shape, or form. Erica, we talked about you doing your exercise next, because of the somatic work that you do, intention versus desire. But I feel like I want to jump in here and do my piece, because I want to spend a little bit more time on yours, because I feel like it's a powerful exercise that we're going to be doing. So, I also feel like what we're talking about right now really speaks to the language that we all have internally, that dialogue that we have, the things that you say to yourself every single day. And that's the piece that I like to focus on with my clients, that I think attaches nicely to this model, is what are you saying to yourself in each of these phases? What is the language? What are the actual words that you're choosing? Are you saying my life is crazy and I need to change things? Well, okay, that may be accurate in terms of logistically what's happening, but if you tell yourself every day your life is crazy, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, you don't have time for anything, I have to make time, I can't figure my life out, then you're going to feel chaotic, because you're sending yourself the message that things are out of control and that your hair is on fire. And the way that I like to work with people is to help them kind of understand what language it is that they're using, and then take specific steps towards changing it. This is my worksheet here that I help people identify that with. Specifically, have people look at the specific words they're looking towards creating. If you say to yourself, I'm going to stop smoking, that's a great goal to have. But if I say to myself, I'm going to stop smoking, I am going to, in and of itself, is kind of somewhere out in the future. It doesn't even have an existence in real space and time. It's like, oh yeah, someday. It's just akin to saying someday. And then stop is a negative word, a negative connotation. Tell a 2-year-old to stop jumping, a 3-year-old to stop doing something. No one wants to be told, even as an adult, to stop doing something, because it means that we have to shift and change course, and it feels denigrating sometimes, and it feels difficult. And then the word smoking is the very thing that we don't want to be focusing on, that we don't want to be doing any longer. But here we are looking at the word now, or thinking about the word, which starts us thinking about actually smoking. And then we're in the drawer getting the cigarettes, lighting up one. So it's really important that we look at the language of what we are talking about before we set that goal. So instead of saying, I'm going to stop smoking, I like to help my clients identify something more positive, something that's more focused in the present moment and positively, and something to the effect of, I am taking amazing care of my body, or even more specifically, I am making my lungs as healthy as I can. That feels better for me. Like, oh, wow, you're making your lungs healthy? How am I making my lungs healthy? What am I doing? Am I going for walks every day? Am I doing deep breathing exercises? Have I gone and gotten a smoking cessation kit? Have I joined a support group, right? What are the things that I can do towards that? And it's really important that we look at all of the behaviors that support the negative habits that we have and the things that we want to change. If we want to go to the gym in the morning, if we want to work out more, if we want to go for a walk. Jeannie, you said this before. It's kind of like if you don't prep the night before to create change, today is a specific reflection of what you did, said, and acted on yesterday. So everything that you did, said, and expected yesterday and planned on yesterday will manifest today. So if I take my exercise clothes and my sneakers and I put them at the end of my bed and I set my alarm a half hour earlier and I've got a walking buddy that is getting up at the same time across town and we're texting each other as soon as we get up, that's going to make me much more likely to get up, put the clothes on and get outside. There's accountability, there's more energy, there's a shift in what I'm doing that takes me away from what I was doing yesterday. So the thoughts in our mind and the way that we prep ourselves is really important. In this worksheet, I have people write specifically and clearly and positively in the present moment. I am doing this now, which helps them manifest something a little bit different than focusing on the negative. I have them write their confidence level, the desirability of it. If you don't like doing it, then if you're a 1, if you don't really want to quit smoking, but you have to, then these steps need to be really doable and really attainable. And they can't be huge steps where it feels insurmountable. And also writing down how confident you are in each of the steps, because if a step, if those things that I said before, getting the patch, taking a different route at lunch, your lunch walk, so you don't walk by the people who are smoking, taking, doing breathing exercises, write down specifically what they are. If you're not confident in it, right? If you go for a walk at lunch, but you think you're going to walk by the people who smoke outside the building, then you may say, well, I probably won't be able to achieve that because I'm just going to want to stop with them. Maybe it's take a different route of walking outside and being very specific about what you can achieve, your confidence level, then checking off when you're able to do it. Each step that you're able to check off and cross off that list toward a goal helps you to stay motivated. And 30 days for every habit, right? Every time you achieve something, not giving up on yourself, continuing to do it over and over and over again, begin again every single day and be your own best cheerleader. Those are the messages that I like to send to people. So I'm not sure if you all
so powerful, all those.
I think that with my students, a lot of times it's the fear of the bigger goal. And once we've broken it down into steps, then they can relish in their their accomplishment on that particular day and see that all I had to accomplish today was research my paper. I've done that successfully. I can lay my head on the pillow and know that this has been a good day. So if we compartmentalize and we see our successes in smaller steps, I think that adds to the confidence that we gain as opposed to looking far off into the future at the larger goal that seems overwhelming.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's why definitely breaking it down. And as you said, Denise, too, like looking at the thought patterns, looking at more specifically how you're bringing it into the present moment positively, and really just breaking it down step by step. Because if you're just focused on kind of, again, that end result, it does bring that sense of overwhelm or this is not possible for me or how is this going to happen? It seems like an insurmountable feat. And so just moment to moment, day to day, just one small change can make all the world of difference, because then it feeds into that feeling and sense of accomplishment and fulfillment, and I can do this, and the empowered beliefs around that. So
I completely agree. And when we have the language that motivates us as opposed to desensitizes us or that de-energizes us or makes us feel as if we can't accomplish something, then that shift and that change results in different energy and frequency and vibration in your body. We are electrical human beings. We send out electrical energy. We have vibration. If you look very closely at every single cell in our body, it is constantly moving. And so the energy that we give towards something, if it's negative, will remain negative. A really quick study that was done, a gentleman had rice in water, and he talked negatively to one of the cups of rice. He left one cup of rice alone, and then the third cup of rice he talked beautifully to every single day. And look up the study. I'll try to find the link for it and put it in the link. But the way that the rice formed and developed was amazing. The one that was spoken negatively to completely corroded and got moldy. The one that didn't have any talking to just kind of stayed, it was fine. But the one that was spoken beautifully to flourished like unbelievably and unbelievably well. And so what we say to ourselves makes a difference. How we speak to ourselves makes a difference. How we speak to others. We know we can hurt people with our words. I don't think people realize that we can actually hurt ourselves with our own words. And it really needs to be a shift and a focus to change it. Even if you fail, don't say, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. Can't believe I did that. It's okay. You know, I had a little bit of a setback. Tomorrow's another day. I'm going to keep going. So Erica, I wanted you to go last because I want you to jump in with your exercises, because I know that you were talking about, you know, hopefully having us kind of walk through some of them with you. And so I would love to do that with you and have you sort of help us understand a little bit more about the work that you do and the practice, which is so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of what you both shared is you need that practical foundation and a model for, again, which to follow to get clear, to kind of get out of the mess of your mind of what do I want, or do I know what I even want, and then be able to really write that down. And then bringing it into the mind body is just an integrated process, right? Because we are a lot operating from our thoughts and from the intellectual space. But again, 95% of our actions and behaviors and thoughts come from the implicit memory, from the body memory. So the more you can bring in this integrative mind-body approach, probably the more supportive you'll feel, and you'll be able to release what might be called stored survival stress or stored trauma. This is more like trauma healing work, because all of those thoughts of limitation or fears or doubt or insecurities or nervousness, maybe there's a fear of success, fear of failure, that also is connected to the body, where we store this shrunk kind of hopeless feeling or nervousness feeling. So this practice is just an adaptation of what I learned in my studies and my work with the Giant Institute for Parenting and Full of Joy coaching, which again integrates somatic work. So I found it really powerful for myself and my healing and progress with certain goals that I've set for myself in my life, where I've run into roadblocks and that sense of fear of failure, or that experience of failure and things not working out as I intentionally planned. And then also, of course, for families, for my clients, for any adult or child. And this ties into, Denise, what you said as well. Well, one thing would be, kind of integrating it all. Where would you feel like you are on that contemplative, on that map that Jeannie shared? And when you want to bring a desire or a goal into your life, and you set that intention, and maybe you're in the action stage or the planning stage, what Denise said as well was, phrase it in a way that it is here in the present moment, in the here and now. So the first part of the exercise is to write down that goal and allow yourself to really feel that it is here now, that it's not tomorrow, the next day. it's allowing yourself. Can I allow myself to lose the 10 pounds? Or can I allow myself to earn the A in history? So write it down. So again, very clearly. And then the next step and process of this release work is to figure out and identify what thoughts and feelings are telling you no, that this is not possible, or how is this going to happen, or I don't believe it's going to happen for me, or I'm not sure how to do it. I'm worried that it won't work. So with any of our goals and desires, there's going to be thoughts, and Denise, you spoke to this too, what thoughts are there and what feelings are there that keep us stuck, that we're kind of feeding into the energy. And we can tell ourselves not to think that, but if the thought still remains, it just means there's a feeling beneath the thought that we're not aware of and we're not connected to. So this somatically, we have a process of being able to go into the feeling and go into a release of that feeling, so that the thought and the feeling is you're not governed by it anymore. It has nothing to do with you and your worth and your value, and you don't need to identify it. But if
And Erica, I want to interrupt you because I feel like this is so important. Can you talk a little bit? We all have these thoughts, but I don't know that people really think about where they come from, right? Why they're there. And it's just like, that's just how I talk to myself. But you've spoken to this beautifully before. I know we've had conversations about it because we do such similar work, but I'd love to hear you kind of talk about that a little bit so that people really pay attention to the whys of their negative thoughts.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so many reasons. I mean, we're kind of operating from that mindset and state of scarcity and of lack and of fear. So it's just patterned and programmed into communications in the family system from when we were very young. But just generally in our institutions and systems, a lot of fear-based communication and, the expectation of you need to do more or be something than what you already are. So a lot of us we all probably carry some thoughts and feelings of the not enoughness or the lack or, I'm not worth this, so unworthiness. And it's very, very common. The trick is how our mind kind of tricks us to keep us in those thought loops, because what happens is we're not embodied. We're not really able to feel the hard feelings, to feel the feelings that come with maybe, oh, I am scared of this. If I am successful, maybe that means, there's going to be more attention on me. And what if I mess up and make a mistake? And then with that comes tension, tightness stored in the body. And it happens. So it's rooted in our childhood, but just also kind of culturally and generationally. So that definitely understanding. Yeah.
It's funny because Erica, you just like sparked this whole thought process and I wrote it down. I'm a visual learner and I realized exactly what the source of my challenge is. So simple goal. I'd like to get back to working out 3 to 5 times a week. Right. But lately things have been really busy with work. Right. So I wrote this diagram and I realized that the workout 3 levels down relates to making a living and money, right? So the stream of thought went, I don't have enough time to work out. Work is the priority, not working out or taking care of myself. And work leads to money, which leads to the ultimate lifestyle comfort, right? So now when I look at it, I see at the bottom of the diagram, workout is here and my income and career is here. So I will never be able to accomplish that until I go like this, right?
Yeah.
That's priority.
Yeah.
So, but the funny thing was the big light bulb went off when you said lack of or lack of abundance.
Like not enough. Yeah, not enough time, not enough money.
Is there any person in the world that doesn't think that they don't desire more money, right? Or more success that leads to money?
Right,
That
yeah.
seems to be human nature. But when you stop and you realize gratitude and being grateful for where you are, then maybe this can become more equal, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're meant to live in abundance and enoughness, and not in that fear, scarcity, or lack, for sure. So part of the work is like, what is there that's telling you, or what feeling is there that's saying, like, well, I'm too busy. There's not enough time, right?
Right.
So what do we need to do next? Now we've identified, we're talking about our negatives. What's our next step?
Yeah, so definitely, it's really a 5-step process. So it's writing down first, like, I allow myself to, to exercise daily and to feel amazing. And then taking a moment after you write it down, and you could do this more somatically if you kind of, the best practice is to take a couple deep breaths, really bring it into your belly, into your heart. What is your heart saying? What are your shoulders doing? Our emotions are felt in our body. Maybe you're there, and if you're not used to this practice, maybe it's something in your shoulders, in your chest, in your stomach. And then the next part is figuring out and thinking and feeling, what are those thoughts and feelings that are telling me, no, this is not possible, like, I can't do this and it won't. And is it the fear? Is it the sense of, like, urgency that, like Jeannie's, that there's I'm just too busy, there's not enough time? And then you make this decision. You can go through, like, well, what are the outcomes then of that fear thought when I'm believing, or that it's not possible, or there's not enough time? What's the outcome? The outcome is, maybe I'm going to be feeling more drained and burnt out, and I'm actually not going to have be showing up very well at work, because I'm not going to be feeling that kind of sense of energy and alignment in my body. What is it costing you? How is it serving you? So kind of going into that consideration of what the outcomes are. And you can do this now as you're listening, whoever's listening on the podcast, Jeannie, Denise, how is it like when you're writing down that desire, that goal, I allow myself to, what feelings are there? And then the next steps are going through each and every one, bit by bit, of those thoughts and feelings, and being able to make that firm decision to let go of them, to let them come in. And if you're not familiar with, working with thoughts, we can, and Denise, that's your expertise, right? Working with the awareness of the thoughts and feelings. The letting go process is not pushing it away, not judging it, not saying it's not supposed to be there, but really the process of kind of opening up, like, and with the feelings in your heart space. Like, if you feel a sense of, like, overwhelm with it, or the sense of stress that comes with this goal, or not enoughness, or not deserving of this goal, then you might feel this pain, like a pain or a heaviness or a racing heart. And the opening up to a feeling is like kind of opening up a door. And can you allow that feeling to just be there, just for a moment, just for now? And you just kind of do this bit by bit, titrate it, if you're not used to kind of working with the feelings of that. And you might notice, if you're kind of moving through the practice now, oh, there's this thought of, like, I'll mess up, or it won't work for me. And then that brings up this sense of shame or fear around it. And where are you feeling that in my belly? And getting into the kind of soma of what that's like, and imagine the door opening up. You're allowing that feeling to be there. And the aim is for you to just let the feeling go. And sometimes that brings up more emotion, and you find that it's just an emotion. It actually has nothing to do with you, your worth, who you are. So there's a process of being able to separate yourself from that. And then there's a dissolving of it, where you find a sense of lightness or warmth or sense of empowerment that comes with the practice of letting go. And from that place of more certainty, more calm, more relaxation in your belly, in your heart, in your chest, in your shoulders, then there's this new belief that might emerge of, like, the truth, right? So we talked about beliefs a little bit, right, Denise? Like, what are you believing in the beginning here? Like, I can't do this, I'll mess up, it won't work. Now, from this place of more openness of freedom, and it's somatically kind of lightness of confidence, what is that empowered belief that's going to support you? Okay. And it might be, you might find that something emerges from your heart space, from your belly of like, okay, I'll be okay. I know I can do this. I'll find support when I need it. And from that place, that's where you can operate from that place of when you do sense and feel this fear, the stress coming up. Oh, I can work with that. It doesn't need to stay stuck in my system of survival stress. And even kids can do this, with the grade. Oh, what is it that you're thinking, feeling, believing when you allow yourself, oh, I'm going to get the A? Well, maybe they're thinking and feeling like, no, I don't want to do it. Then maybe there's anger there. And then some of that needs expression so that they're not holding on to it anymore. So that would be the aim of this practice. And again, it takes a little bit more time, but that was kind of just an overview of what it might look like. So yeah, Jeannie, you kind
is
of
this the final? Sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What were your reflections? Jeannie, you said you wrote down what was coming up for you, and it takes time to kind of get into is it here in your shoulders where you might be feeling some tension, or where your fear around it?
Right. I think really, the focusing on the abundance, and that goes back to what we started with Denise, which is self-talk, right? So, we are hardworking people and constantly striving for better and better and better, no matter where we're at, in our goals. And, like Erica says, releasing that, and then all of a sudden the truth will emerge, in order. And so like the truth for me at the end was, in order for my body to think at its best and perform at its best, I have to take care of the body. So then the working out and self-care has to be equal to my personal success.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's like you're identifying first how you're getting in your own way, right? So you have this aha moment, like Jeannie, you mentioned a few minutes ago. Oh, when you said this, Erica, it reminded me of, and I was able to figure out, what I was saying to myself and why I was saying it to myself. So there's that awareness and insight, and then the acceptance of it, and the kind of leaning into it, and the not trying to just push it away, but to really understand where it lives in your body, and being able to accept it as it is, but also then work towards kind of just, can I allow myself to think differently? Can I allow myself to let this go and not hold on to this and harbor it? And there's a freedom that comes with that. And just as you were talking, I was thinking to myself about some of the things that I hold myself back with, in terms of, I always tell myself that, oh, I'm not good with marketing and advertising. And there's a part of me that really needs to let go of that, and or ask for help, right? That I can let go of the reason why I tell myself that I'm bad is because I don't ask for help. And there was this aha moment, and then there was this freedom that was like, okay, goodness, I just need to ask for a little bit of help in getting some of the things done that I need to get done. And it's okay to do that, and have someone help me. I think as women, we're the nurturers, we're the caretakers, we're the ones who feel like we need to do everything and be strong and have it all together, and not necessarily ask for help when we need it. So that was really helpful for me to kind of walk through this process with both of you, understanding that I'm in the place where I want to take action, and I am taking action, but I get in my own way a lot and stumble.
Yeah, I hope that's the biggest. Yeah, I hope that's the biggest takeaway for everybody listening here is you're not alone. We all are moving through this just pattern of thoughts of limitation and fear and overwhelm, and it needs that sense of support. And there are tools and practices like what all of us shared here that help you move through that process, to help you really open up and just feel strong, confident, empowered, and help you move forward in your life instead of coming up with those blocks. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed listening.
I do too. I'm really glad that we were able to talk about this today. I'm hoping that people walk away with a better sense of what it is that gets in their way when they think about setting goals and achieving them, and being able to be honest with themselves, be loving towards themselves, and non-judgmental, and then hopefully shift a little bit and create some new energy and new movement in your life that allows you to get to the places that you want to get to and enjoy the ride, enjoy the setbacks, learn from them every single day. When you go to bed at night, lay down and say, what did I do awesome today? And what can I change to do better tomorrow? And let tomorrow be another wonderful day where you're just living your best life and not judging yourself for not being where you think you need to be.
Yeah, above all things, right? Like we can probably all relate to when you're in like kind of a dark moment or a tough moment, a big challenge, something that came unexpectedly. Like, can you just open up to be loving to that part of you? And you'll find that it brings you through to the light even more quickly, because that's really what it's all about. It's just opening up to heart, compassion, and lovingness. But yeah, and I'm curious to hear what everybody listening, what they receive from this. So feel free, reach out to us, send us some
comments
in there. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And all of these handouts will be in a link below, so you'll be able to access them. You'll be able to download them and be able to use them as you wish. And subscribe to our podcast channel. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have you along for the ride every single month when we come on and speak with you. So wishing you all well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, ladies. It was a great conversation, and we will see you all next time on the Mindful Family Podcast. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for hosting.